AP, let's bring in one of my best friends, one of the most brilliant, one of the most extremely talented, hardworking people / coaches that I know. It's Kaitlin Culwell. Kaitlin, can you hear me?
Yes, I can. Hey, y'all.
Hi. I'm so excited that you're joining us today. I am so excited. How are you?
I'm good. How are y'all?
So good. Let's go ahead and start off with this. We kind of already introduced you a little bit to our viewers, but kind of talk about yourself. Give us an elevator pitch. Who are you? What do you do, for a living? And how long have you been in the coaching game?
Oh, good. I'm sure Mallory and Pickle did something better than what I'm about to do. This is their livelihood, but I'm Kaitlin Culwell. I coach volleyball and softball down at Stephenville High School. I have been in the profession, it feels like 9,000 years. But coaching, I've only been 3 years. Being a coach's kid, I've been in it for 25 years. And then coach's spouse, I'm in it now this is going to be year 2, I feel like. Yeah.
My goodness. So you are just all the way surrounded by coaches in every single aspect of your life. But before we get into that, I've always been curious, and I've always wanted to ask you this. What has been your favorite sport to coach so far?
Gosh, so I played softball growing up, and you know that. If I could coach football, I would do it.
Yes,
I
ma'am.
really would.
Yes, ma'am.
But I think the most fun I ever had coaching had to probably be my first year coaching basketball, because I coached it like they were a little football team. I was like, just go out there and tackle them. It's okay. It's going to be great. I mean, I love coaching softball, but the little basketball squad I had, ooh, girl, they were fun.
I love to hear that. Now, like you said, you've only been in the game for about 3 years, but you have been surrounded by sports and coaches literally your entire life. So when did you figure out or find out when you wanted to follow that coaching path like everybody else in your life?
Probably my senior year of high school. I mean, my parents wanted me to be a physical therapist or anything else outside of coaching. But going into my senior year, I didn't know anything else. And, when you're going to colleges and you're picking your colleges that you wanted to go to, I was like, I got to go be a coach. So whatever college is going to let me be a coach, that's what we're going to do.
And you went to North Texas, two of the hosts on this show, the only 2 other people on this show. And for all the coaches or all the people out there that want to be coaches, what did you study? What did you major in? What kinds of things were you involved in college and I guess high school as well, that kind of led you to your path now, to where you are now?
Yeah, so high school, I did every sport that mom and dad could throw me in. We did powerlifting, cross country, track, football, basketball. We did all that. And then I was an athletic trainer for all of my dad's teams. At UNT, I studied kinesiology and special education. So I teach special education right now. And then good old Mal Pal came into my life when I was at Pi Phi as a sorority girl. Surprise, surprise. But that's the one that gets over. They're like, "Oh God, you're a sorority girl." I'm like, "Yeah."
You don't seem
fit
like
the picture, but yes.
Yeah, that's crazy. Now, was there ever any doubt in your mind? I mean, and then this could be when you were younger or even out throughout all of your college years. Was there ever any doubt in your mind that you would want to be a coach? Like, did you ever have those thoughts in your head, like maybe that coaching isn't for me, or have you always pretty much known, like, yeah, I kind of want to be a coach?
I think I've always pretty much known.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, nothing else was fun growing up. Like, going to the doctor was awful. Working in retail, that's not fun. Like, I want to go play on the field like Dad did. So it was a no-brainer. I feel like it for me as a kid. Now, all my other siblings, they want nothing to do with this world.
That's hilarious. Now, and you said your dad's been in the coaching game for 25 plus years. He's been a head football coach. 27 years. And your boyfriend that you are dating now, he is also a coach at Tarleton. Tate Witten, who is the wide receivers coach over there, the son of Todd Witten, the head coach at Tarleton. So you are literally engulfed in the coaching world. Like, there is nothing else going on but coaching for you. And Ashley and I were talking about this earlier, and we're super curious to hear your answer to this. The different people in your life that are coaches, What are they like? And I already know your answer for yourself, but what are they like after a good win or a bad loss? Can they turn off that coaching switch super easily, or does that mood kind of carry into the rest of the day or even week?
So for me, I can kind of turn it off sometimes. Kind of depends on
I don't know about that.
I can sometimes do it. Now, Tate, on the other hand, cannot. And he comes home and we are breaking down film until the very next day. And I'm like, okay, I love you. Okay. My dad, he can kind of turn it off probably the next day. It takes him about a good 24 hours. But I think as a coach, if you give your 24 hours grace period, you're good. You're solid. Now you carry it over for like 2 to 3 days. You got to move on.
Right.
Makes sense. Well, and that kind of leads, obviously, like when my family gets together for holidays and stuff like that, we're all sports fans, but no one else really does what I do. So it's more sports fan talk. Whenever either of the sides of your family get together, whether that's you with Tate's family or you with your family, does it inevitably turn into coach speak, breaking down what happened, like, well, here's where you went wrong, dummy, type of stuff?
All the time. I swear, every time we'll go and do something with family, and then especially for Tate, he probably gets it more than I do because he's in the college realm. It's always, hey, who are y'all recruiting? What's this recruiting class going to be like? Oh, that game, how did that game go? And I'm like, oh, we're here for family time. That's okay.
Right, and that kind of leads me into this next question here. Now, how do you make time between, and we can say you and Tate, you're both always coaching, and then during football season, you got volleyball going on. During the football off season, you have softball going on. So how do you guys make the time for each other, both being super engulfed in the coaching world?
So we kind of dedicate, if we can, and now this is with recruiting season and then anything softball season and volleyball and whatnot, but Sundays are normally Tate and Kaitlin days. And that's where we go, just he and I at home. We pretty much lock the door, or we go and see family. But like during football season, they have one for football. With Tate, they'll have one day a week where he's home a lot earlier than normal, and we will kind of be that couple that stays in and does not answer the phone. During softball season, with him recruiting and spring ball, we try to get Sundays are our day. And I think, like, in the coaching world, you've got to have a day with your spouse.
And I think it's so important too, because we personally know a lot of these head football coaches, and a lot of their wives are also coaches, especially at these smaller schools. So I've always been curious, to kind of know, how do you make that time? Because like you said, it's really, really important. I mean, your career, of course, I know is very important to you, but yeah, it also is important to make time for your other partner and stuff. But let's kind of switch gears here a little bit. Being a female in the coaching world, I can't even imagine. It's probably very difficult at times. So how do you deal with all of that, all of those hardships or sometimes that negativity that's brought to you? What do you do to kind of cope with that?
Right. I mean, being a female in the coaching world and just being a coach in general, it's hard. And you're going to walk into the hardships. It's kind of, I said this on another podcast that's all about like coaches, wives, and spouses, but it's not when a hardship occurs, it's always the when, it's not the if. It's going to happen. I honestly rely on Tate a lot because sometimes I need the male perspective. I'm very type A female. It's how I'm going to do it. And I have to always go to Tate because I'm like, okay, I don't understand why he just said that to me. Or if it's because females are hard to work with too, y'all.
For sure, it's competitive.
Males I can at least crack a joke, but some females, skillet. And I will have to go to other coaches. So I think that's probably my best advice to anybody, or how I deal with it in general. I go to others. I'm like, I got to bounce this off of you. I need advice. Because I'm very stuck in my ways sometimes, and I got to not be.
Right. And you're such a selfless person, just knowing you personally. What does it really mean to you to be a supporter of women in sports and even an advocate for your athletes?
Push kids to be a multi-sport athlete. It's massive. Go and support other programs, sports, even if it's a hard year for them. Go support. That coach is doing all that they can. Those athletes. I mean, I my senior year we did not really win a single game that softball season. So going to practice and everything was rough, and I'm sure my coach had it hard too. But as a coach to another coach and a coach to other athletes, go support, go be there, and if they need. This is also now the SPED teacher and me talking. Go be the tutor and the teacher that the kids need.
I was going to say that's the other thing that I feel like that never gets talked about enough when it comes to coaches, because we, like, obviously when we're covering high school football and stuff, a lot of times we're just talking to the head coaches. That's but there's so much from an assistant's perspective that a lot of times you are being a teacher. You are doing so much of that stuff off the field. How do you end up balancing that? And what's it like to know, like, hey, I make a lot more of a difference in a kid's life than just on the softball field or just on the volleyball court?
Teaching wise, you better have your planner. You better have your Google Calendar and your Outlook calendar on point. But with the kids, I mean, you want relationships on the court, off the court, on the field, everything else with them. I think I have grown more closer to kids through their academics, though, because I will sit down, I will work with them, and I think that's huge. As a coach, if you're in the classroom, there's that stigmatism that coaches don't know anything. We're there to coach, and that's it. We sit and watch film a lot, and it's an awful stigmatism, but sometimes it's true because I do it a lot sometimes. But having that relationship with the kids in the classroom also builds that relationship with the parents, because now the parents know, oh, she doesn't just care about my kid on the court. She also cares about her future steps in the world, and relying that to the parents and to the kid that it's only a sport. You're trying to make them better women in life and men in life too. That's probably the biggest thing.
Can I go back to high school and have Kaitlin as my coach or my teacher? Because that sounds really, really great. But since this is a show about football, it's women talking football, I need to ask you a little bit about football and maybe the expert for the Tarleton Texans here. Now,
we go to our Tarleton beat reporter, Kaitlin Culwell.
Kaitlin Culwell. I mean, who better to have on this beat than Kaitlin Culwell? But this will be Tarleton's third season playing at the Division I level. They're now in the WAC, the Western Athletic Conference. Last year they went 6-5, so they broke even. They broke the 500 plane. What's the outlet going to look like for this season?
They had a really great group of kids graduate this year, especially for Tate. He's Toops, his whiteouts graduated, my little babies. But I'll tell you this, those coaches have been nonstop recruiting. There's recruiting going on 24/7. I swear there's recruiting at my house most of the time. But I think it's going to be a really great season. They've got a lot of kids coming back. It should be really good. And then the rumor around right now that FBS might be in our future, I'm sure that's opening lots of doors for some of our kids too. But I would expect another good production season with great coaching and great athletes.
She's not biased at all. Great coaching. No. Not biased at all, but they've got a fantastic group over there. They got a fantastic group over there. And I want to end it with this. I always love asking this question to coaches and even athletes too. I think it's super fun. What is your game day ritual? Are you a superstitious person? Do you have to do the same thing every day?
If my hair is not braided on one side and pulled into the tightest ponytail ever, I cannot touch the softball field. I cannot. I have to have my 8.4-ounce Red Bull, the regular Red Bull. I have to have a salad for lunch. Y'all, I'm a creature of habit.
Most coaches are, but that's intense.
That's intense, man. That's amazing. Well, Kaitlin, thank you. Thank you so much for joining us today. I know you're super busy and softball season is starting to ramp up. So thank you so much for taking the time to join us on here and to kind of just give us a look into your life, because I know it's super hectic and super busy, but you've worked for everything that you have earned. And I'm so proud of you. And thank you so much for supporting us as well. So.
Oh, thanks. I love y'all. Y'all are the best.
We love you
I can
too.
wave to her because we're still FaceTiming. We've been like FaceTiming this whole time.
I'm waving from across the studio, but thank you, Kaitlin.
Bye,
You're
girl.
welcome. Bye, y'all.
There she goes. That was Miss Kaitlin Culwell. She is an assistant volleyball and softball coach over there at Stephenville High School. You can follow her on Twitter at Coach Culwell.